What if I told you that the person destined to be your soulmate could appear in your life in a completely unexpected way, when you least expect it? Not through arranged meetings, nor by chance, but through silent divine guidance. A path you may not even see coming. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you will discover the signs, trials, and revelations that Allah uses to lead you to your marital kingdom, and it could transform your view of love forever. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Let each breath bring you back to yourself, to that silence that has resided in your heart for so long. There is something you already know, something your soul whispers in the depths of your loneliest nights. Your other half exists, somewhere, not in an illusory dream, not in a tale the world tells to distract you, but in the invisible reality that Allah holds in His hands. And yet, you ask yourself, again and again, am I ready to recognize her when she appears? Am I truly purified to welcome this light that will change my life? What many don't realize is that it is not the external world that prepares us for true love. It is not a chance encounter, nor human advice that shapes the destiny of your heart. It is the inner world, that silent realm where true transformations take place. There, in the hidden corners no one sees, Allah is working on you, gently, patiently, sometimes so subtly that you only realize, after months, even years, that a profound transformation has taken place. Every trial you face, every moment of solitude you endure, every time your tears soak your bedroom pillow or your prayers seem lost in silence, all of this is a sharpening of the heart, an invisible yet crucial preparation. The heart is like a mirror. As long as it is covered in dust, it cannot reflect the light. But every hardship, every moment of patience in the face of pain, every sacrifice you make in silence, polished by Allah's mercy, all of this makes that mirror shine. And when the time comes, it will reflect the light of your marital kingdom with a purity that nothing else could ever achieve. Imagine for a moment. You are like a raw crystal, seemingly fragile, yet possessing a beauty waiting to be revealed. Shocks, trials, losses, and self-doubt. All of this is like the delicate polishing that transforms a rough stone into a shining jewel. It's not the speed of the transformation that matters, but the depth. Every crack in your heart, every fear you faced, every question you've asked in the stillness of the night, all of this sculpts your soul. And it is precisely this soul, purified and awakened, that will be able to recognize and welcome the person your Lord has destined for you. There is a beauty in this process that many overlook. Because we want everything now. We want to see the signs immediately. We want to know if this person is the one before our hearts are even ready. But Allah works differently. He knows exactly how much patience your heart must cultivate, how much faith it must develop, how much wisdom it must accumulate before the meeting occurs. The revelation of your other half will not simply be a meeting. This will be a moment when your heart understands, without a doubt, that every loneliness, every tear, every moment of confusion was necessary to prepare you for this radiance. And sometimes, this inner revelation happens silently, almost imperceptibly. You feel a tranquility settle in your chest, a gentle light that dispels your fears. You realize that you are no longer the same person you were before. The old wounds haven't disappeared, but they have been transformed into strengths, wisdom, and the capacity to understand and love in ways you never knew existed. It is this purified and awakened version of you that will be ready to recognize and welcome your marital kingdom when it is revealed by the will of Allah. The process may seem long, frustrating, sometimes painful. You wonder why some prayers remain unanswered, why some hopes seem suspended in the void. But every moment is calculated by infinite wisdom. Every trial prepares the ground. Every apparent failure is a step toward inner perfection. And this inner perfection is not a state you attain to impress the world. It is a state that enables you to receive the purest and deepest blessing. The love destined for you, shaped by Allah, guided by His unseen signs and plans. So, breathe once more. Feel your heart beating in your chest. Feel the patience that has accumulated, the resilience that has been woven into every fiber of your being. Feel this silent, almost invisible transformation that has been taking place for years, perhaps decades. And know that what you have experienced, all of it prepares the ground for that moment when your heart will meet the perfect soulmate that your Lord has chosen for you. There are times in life when the world seems to revolve around us without our awareness, when everything appears mundane and routine. And yet, within this daily flow, Allah slips in signs, whispers for those who know how to listen. These signs don't come with blaring trumpets or blinding lights. Number. They arrive silently, almost imperceptibly. Like a breath on your skin, a shiver down your spine, or a sudden intuition that something or someone is different. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting in a cafe or walking down the street. Your thoughts are elsewhere, preoccupied with your trials, your fears, or your hopes. And then you pass someone. Nothing spectacular. Just a glance, a smile, a word exchanged. But something within you reacts. A strange vibration, an echo in your soul that you can't ignore. You don't know why, but your heart feels a slight tension, as if recognizing a familiar energy. And it is there, in that precise moment, that the invisible magic begins. These signs are whispers from Allah in the silence of your life. He doesn't say, "It's that person," but He draws your attention to details you would otherwise have overlooked. A gesture, a word, a glance that makes you feel the world has changed, even briefly. These moments stop you in your tracks, force you to breathe, to observe, to feel. And if you are attentive, your heart will understand that this is not chance. It is guidance. An invisible hand that adjusts your path, preparing you for the encounter you have always longed for. Think of those casual conversations that seem to linger in your memory. A phrase, spoken without any particular intention, but which remains etched in your mind. Perhaps this person mentioned something that resonated deeply with your secret thoughts, dreams, or fears. Perhaps a simple smile awakened a warmth within you that you hadn't felt in years. These details are never insignificant. They are the clues your Lord places for those with an attentive and open heart. And sometimes the sign is even more subtle. A series of coincidences that at first glance seem commonplace. You find yourselves in the same place, at the same time, repeatedly. You discover shared interests or values without having sought them out. You feel a familiarity that transcends mere logic. And then, as time passes, you realize that these events are not accidents. They are invisible threads your Lord weaves into your life, gently drawing you closer to what is destined for you. But be warned, these signs require attention, presence of mind, and spiritual sensitivity. If your heart is too busy, if your mind is drowning in worries and distractions, these whispers go unnoticed. You could be walking alongside your destiny without ever realizing it. That is why inner silence, patience, and meditation are essential. By learning to listen, to observe, to feel, You begin to decode this subtle language that Allah uses to reveal the blessings in your life. Sometimes, the sign is not a person per se, but a circumstance that draws your attention to it. A conversation overheard by chance, a remark from a friend, an event that seems insignificant, but triggers a realization within you: this is where my heart will find what it seeks. The realm of your heart is not revealed through noise, brilliance, or grandeur. It is revealed through these gentle whispers, these imperceptible movements that awaken your soul and prepare it to recognize what is destined. Imagine that each sign is a light in a dark tunnel. You can't see the exit yet, but you sense there's a direction, a path. Every detail you've ignored in the past, every intuition you dismissed as insignificant, is beginning to form a clear pattern. And suddenly you understand that what you felt from the beginning, that inner vibration, that shiver, that intuition, wasn't an illusion. It was Allah preparing your heart to see, recognize, and welcome the person or blessing He has reserved for you. And what makes these signs even more miraculous is their subtlety. They don't appear as dramatic explosions. They slip into your daily life, into moments when you're vulnerable, honest with yourself, alone with your thoughts and prayers. It's in these moments that your heart becomes a receiver for divine whispers. And the more aware, attentive, and sincere you are, the clearer these signs become. The more they reveal themselves as silent guides toward your marital and spiritual destiny. Sometimes life seems to conspire against you. Every step toward your soulmate seems pushed back. Every hope you once cherished slowly fades in the silence of your heart. The person you feel destined to complete you, your future partner, appears like a distant star, bright but out of reach. And it is in these moments that your soul is truly tested. These trials are never coincidences. They are not punishments, curses, or whims of fate. They are silent testaments to the wisdom of Allah. When your heart is filled with anguish, when loneliness envelops you, when your prayers seem to echo against an invisible ceiling, it is then that Allah shapes your patience, scrutinizes the sincerity of your intentions, and purifies your desires. Every frustration, every weight, every moment you ask yourself, "Why me?" is a step toward the profound transformation of your inner being. Imagine for a moment the person you are waiting for. You see her in your dreams, in your deepest hopes, and yet you cannot yet hold her, hear her voice, feel her presence, share your most intimate thoughts. And the pain of this distance sometimes seems unbearable. But it is precisely this pain that is a light in disguise. It is there to show you what is truly precious. Because before you receive what you desire, your heart must learn to recognize its value. The moments of separation, the prolonged silence, and the uncertainties are not there to break you. They are there to reveal. They reveal the depth of your attachment, the purity of your intentions, and the silent strength that resides in your faith. A heart that is content with what it can immediately grasp is not yet ready to receive the full blessing. It is patience in waiting, steadfastness in solitude, and trust in the unseen that make the encounter, when it finally occurs, sacred, complete, and illuminated by the wisdom of Allah. Sometimes, life tests you in almost cruel ways. Rumor, obstacles, misunderstandings, or unexpected detours appear like invisible walls. And in those moments, you're tempted to lose faith, to believe that everything is over. But this is precisely when your heart must remember that trials are not signs of abandonment, but divine instruments. They are stepping stones that strengthen your resilience, sharpen your discernment, and sculpt your capacity to love with purity and depth. It's easy to desire. It's easy to dream. But it's difficult to be patient, especially when the wait seems endless and doubt creeps in. Yet, It is this difficulty that transforms desire into a blessing. Without trials, your marital kingdom would not be what it is meant to be. It would be merely a human desire, a projection of your needs and wants. Through hardship, it becomes a sacred gift, a well-deserved reward, an encounter shaped by the mercy and wisdom of Allah. Every tear shed in silence, every night spent praying for guidance, every moment you restrain your desires to preserve your faith, all of this is an invisible preparation. Your heart learns to love without possessiveness, to hope without impatience, to draw closer to the light of divine acceptance. And it is in this process that the true value of your future partner is revealed. When you finally meet them, you will understand that this person is not simply a life partner, but a reflection of the endurance, faith, and patience you have cultivated. There is something profoundly sacred about hardship. It strips you bare, exposes you to yourself, forces you to confront your fears, insecurities, and weaknesses. And yet, it elevates you. It teaches you that love is not merely a feeling, but a spiritual path. True love isn't an instant gift. It's earned through the faithfulness of your heart, the clarity of your intentions, and the depth of your trust in divine guidance. Imagine this moment. After all the trials, after all the nights of uncertainty, you finally meet the person who was meant for you. And suddenly, you realize that everything you've been through had a purpose. Every pain, every weight, every silence was an instrument to purify your heart, sharpen your vision, and prepare your soul to recognize the blessing you are about to receive. Think for a moment of the universe as a master weaver. Imagine this vast, invisible workshop where every fiber, every thread, every glimmer of light and shadow is meticulously placed. You walk through your life, often unaware of what this invisible thread traces behind you. This subtle tapestry that connects every event, every encounter, every smile, every pain you have experienced. What you see are never more than a few fragments, a few tangled threads, as if you were looking at the sky through a tiny window. But Allah the All-Wise sees the entire tapestry. He sees the complete pattern, every detail, every curve, every glimmer. Every encounter you think is a coincidence, every person who crosses your path, every obstacle that seems unfair or random, all of this is a piece of this divine puzzle. You may feel that certain moments are coincidences, but what you don't realize is that these coincidences are disguised signs, invisible bridges, silent guides that draw your soul closer to what it is destined to encounter. It is in these micro-instances that divine synchronicity manifests, discreet, yet with incomparable precision and beauty. Imagine the thread of destiny running through your life like a ray of light. Sometimes it goes almost unnoticed. A simple smile exchanged with a stranger, a casual conversation that will remain etched in your memory, a fleeting glance that sends an inexplicable shiver down your spine. These moments are the stars that light your way, subtle signals to remind you that you are already on your way to what is meant for you. These are not merely human encounters, they are orchestrated intersections, calculated by an infinite wisdom that you cannot yet comprehend. Each experience in your life acts as a thread in this tapestry. The pain, the loneliness, the shattered dreams, the nights when you felt abandoned. All of this is not lost. Every sorrow becomes a hue, every joy a light, and every step into the unknown a thread connecting your heart to your destined one. The outside world may seem chaotic, but within, a silent perfection takes shape, a divine orchestration that no one can disrupt. And this is the profound beauty of synchronicity. It never manifests abruptly or hastily. It is subtle, poetic, almost imperceptible. You might miss these signs if your heart is distracted or your mind cluttered. But those who learn to slow down, to observe, to listen to the whispers of their own soul, recognize these moments as silent messages from God. Every smile received, every unexpected encounter, every detail you consider insignificant becomes a golden thread in the tapestry of your destiny. Now imagine the encounter with your marital kingdom. It doesn't appear by chance. It doesn't arise when you expect it. It occurs precisely when the tapestry, invisible until then, becomes clear in your heart and mind. And when that moment arrives, it's as if time stands still for both of you. Every invisible thread aligns, every vibration of the universe finds its place, and your soul immediately recognizes what is meant for it. You then realize that all your expectations, all your prayers, all your nights of doubt and patience have been orchestrated for this precise moment. Divine synchronicity isn't limited to the meeting itself. It's a language, a silent poem that your heart learns to read over time. It manifests in coincidences, apparent chance, signs that only those who listen with their soul can understand. It's in these details that you begin to perceive the presence of Allah in your life, to feel that nothing is left to chance, and that every step of your path has been carefully designed. Sometimes you'll look back and realize that every detour, every obstacle, every moment when you thought all was lost, was part of this orchestration. Every person you met, every smile you received, every painful experience that forced you to grow and be patient, all of it silently wove the thread of your journey. You'll then understand that what you thought were coincidences were actually clues left by the Creator, guiding you toward the blessing that awaits you. You might be wondering, how will I know if this is truly the right person? This questioning isn't just natural, it's necessary. For your heart, when pure and attentive, possesses a silent wisdom that the mind cannot always comprehend. There is a difference between human desire and the certainty that only Allah can place in the soul. Desire can be impulsive, fleeting, sometimes selfish. But this certainty, this tranquility that settles when divine truth is revealed, is profound, silent, and full of light. You begin to notice that when you are near this person, your worries disappear. The questions that have plagued you for months or years subside. There is a lightness in your chest that you have never felt before, as if a heavy stone has been lifted. Anxiety gives way to tranquility, and this tranquility is a sign that your heart is not mistaken. He recognizes what is destined, not through logic or reason, but through a subtle and invisible guidance that never lies. And it's not just a matter of comfort. The awakening of the heart also manifests in the way you begin to see the other person. Love ceases to be an obsession, a compulsive desire, or an attempt to fill an inner void. Instead, it becomes an act of gratitude. Every smile, every word, every gesture becomes a silent reminder of Allah's mercy and wisdom. You begin to understand that true love is not about possessing, but about cherishing, respecting, and uplifting the other person, while honoring the divine guidance that led you to this encounter. Sometimes, the answer to your question doesn't come immediately. You may spend weeks, months, even years praying, hoping, and searching for signs, without receiving instant certainty. And yet, it is precisely in this time of waiting and silence that your heart awakens. For Allah never rushes. He does not reveal all His answers at once. He makes clarity appear gradually, in small waves of light and understanding. An unexpected smile, a sincere word, a simple yet meaningful action. All these become fragments of certainty that slowly build your inner awakening. Sometimes you may ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? Or, what if this isn't really for me? These doubts are not obstacles, but tools. They encourage your heart to be vigilant, to open itself, and not to mistake superficial desire for divine truth. Every question, every hesitation, every moment of reflection is a step in your spiritual growth. It is as if Allah is saying to you, observe, sense, listen, and your heart will recognize the truth at the precise moment it needs to. You also begin to notice subtle changes within yourself. Your patience increases. Your intentions become clearer. You learn to distinguish between what is temporary and what is eternal, between what is superficial and what is sacred. And this inner transformation isn't just to prepare you to recognize your other half. It's to prepare you to become the best version of yourself, capable of loving with sincerity, depth, and humility. Sometimes, the awakening of the heart manifests itself through silent signs that only the most attentive can perceive. An inner calm when you think of this person, a persistent intuition that guides your choices, or a constant feeling that everything in your life has been preparing you for this precise moment. These signs are gentle, yet powerful. They are like stars in the night, guiding your path without a sound, but with a certainty that only faith can confirm. And then you realize that true love is never in a hurry. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It reveals itself gently, in a silence filled with wisdom. Every trial, every wait, every silent prayer, and every night of reflection has shaped your heart so that it can recognize and welcome this blessing when the time comes. So you ask yourself the ultimate question. Are you ready to listen, to feel, to follow the path that Allah lays out for you, even when that path is mysterious, slow, or silent? Are you ready to welcome divine guidance, even when the answer doesn't come in the form you hope for, but in the exact form your soul has always desired? Are you ready to trust this process, this perfect timing that only Allah knows, and to recognize that every detour, every pause, and every moment of doubt had a sacred purpose? It is in this openness, in this receptivity, that the true awakening of the heart begins. It is at this moment that you cease searching desperately and begin to feel, perceive, and receive the blessings of Allah. You begin to understand that the marital realm, what your heart has long awaited, is not merely a physical encounter, but a manifestation of divine guidance, a silent proof that your faith, patience, and sincerity have found their echo in reality. And it is precisely at this moment, when your heart fully awakens and you begin to feel this guidance, that the next stage of your journey begins. If this video has touched your heart and opened your eyes to how Allah prepares your path in love, subscribe so you never miss these life-changing spiritual teachings. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt these subtle signs? And remember, sometimes the greatest revelation comes when we stop searching and learn to listen. Click like, subscribe, and continue this spiritual journey to discover divine guidance in every aspect of your life.